Back. Episode 21. I was in debates with myself on whether to take a week off this week or come straight back in. I'm going to change my headphones around. That's better. Come back in with another one, because I was like, I remember a few weeks ago I said that I was going to do 10 episodes, have a break, do another 10 episodes, and like take a week off every 10. But I'm on a bit of a roll at the moment, and I planned out the next 2 episodes in advance. So I was like, yeah, just keep going, and I'll take a week off when I need to take a week off. So we're back, episode 21, towing the line. How's your week been, huh? I'm recording this on a Friday today. Just want my weekend. I just want to enjoy my weekend and I got a lot of training to do, so I didn't really want to have to train and record my podcast at the same time. So I was like, no, I'm going to record it on Friday, and I'm not working at the moment, obviously. So here we are, Friday after lunch, recording a podcast for you guys. This week has been an interesting week. Training-wise, it's been pretty heavy. I could only do one strength session, and that was on Monday. I made myself do it on Monday. I almost missed it because I was pretty cooked after last weekend, but I was like, I only have one opportunity to do strength this week, so I'm going to take that opportunity. I'm not going to miss it because I will feel bad if I miss it. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I hit that strength on Monday afternoon. It was a good sesh, but I'm missing it. I wish I could do more. Unfortunately, at the moment, that's not what the plan calls for, so I'm not going to be doing more until I need to do more. So for now, we're balls deep in a try training, which is, it's getting hard this week. The hardest thing this week, you guys are lucky because you get, unrestricted content from me. But the hardest thing this week was the sores that I am feeling from doing so much bike work. It is not fun. It is not fun at all. The sores are so bad. The saddle sores, insane. I think I've done 4 hours on the trainer this week, and it's all been really hard stuff. It hasn't been easy. Like, there has not been one session that was like, yeah, that was pretty nice. It's all been fucked. Each session I finish hanging over the handlebars with sweat dripping everywhere, and I'm like, fuck that, never again. And then I've got to do one the next day, because I think I did Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. An hour and a half Tuesday, hour and a half Wednesday, an hour on Thursday, and it was just, they were all shit. I didn't actually finish Thursday's one. I couldn't. My legs just didn't have it in me. It was 6-minute sets at a certain watts, and I just couldn't even get past 2 minutes at that. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to dial it back to an intensity or a wattage I can handle, and then try and do it with that. So that's how that ended up going. Absolutely bonkers. So I'm not looking forward to my ride tomorrow. I've got to ride 100 Ks, and then I've got 2 hours of hills on Sunday into a run. And I'm not really looking forward to sitting on the saddle for that long, but you know what? We'll get through it. We'll deal with it when we get there, and then we'll get through it when we get there. Otherwise, what else did I do this week? I got in trouble on Wednesday. Well, not in bad trouble, but I got in trouble for doing too much. So I'm notorious for doing more than I should. I always overshoot things, but usually it's harmless. It's like, a couple of hundred meters, an extra K, 10 minutes, whatever, not a big deal. But because I had something pretty cool to do yesterday on Thursday, I was like, I don't want to do a double session. I just want to train once because I don't have time to do 2. So I was like, you know what? I'll just throw it in on Wednesday. I'll do extra on Wednesday. So I initially had just a ride and a swim on Wednesday. And I was like, you know what? I'll also do the run from Thursday as well and get it out of the way. So I woke up, hit my ride, then went for a run at 1 o'clock. And then I was going to swim after the run. Perfect. I was like, I can handle it. It's fine. So I messaged Nicola after I'd finished the run, and she was like, no, you're not allowed to do 3. What have we said? You got to, it defeats the purpose. You got to be smart with your training. And I was like, I knew what she was going to say, which is why I messaged her after it was too late, or almost too late. Why I waited until after I'd finished the run, because I was like, I wanted to get the run out of the way, so I'll do that, and then I'll message her, because then the swim's not a big deal. And that's what happened. She was like, I was like, can I just do a little bit of a swim? And I ended up managing to get away with doing a 2K swim, which wasn't too bad, but ideally not part of the plan. But it led me to think, like, I am grateful that I've got a coach that will pull me up on that shit and not let me get away with it, because I shouldn't get away with it. I should be strict to the program. I should be smart about the way I do things. And if I'm going to miss a session, just miss it, because I'm already doing enough. If I miss, a trainer set, it's not a big deal. Whereas if I do too much on a day and get injured, that is a big deal. So I should be smarter about it. But we got through it. We're here now. We're through. This morning's session was a swim and a run. I did it the other way around though. 12K's easy, low heart rate, and then a 3K swim. Ticked it off, jumped in the sauna afterwards. Happy days. Finished all my training in the morning, and I don't plan on doing a thing for the rest of the day. Sorry, if you're watching, you can see me itching my eyes. I probably look very strange. It's because hay fever gets me. Sorry if you can hear me itching my eyes too. That'd be a weird sound, wouldn't it? Ugh. Just liquids being, sorry. No, thank you. What else happened this week? I listened back on last week's episode, and I realized, I was like, I probably need more structure to what I'm doing, because I'm kind of just winging it at the moment. Which leaves room for like lots of, not dead air, but me rambling about stuff that's, probably not super entertaining. So I was like, maybe I should structure these a bit better, which I think I'm going to do. So my plan is to ask myself questions. So I'll write myself a bunch of questions for the episode, and I'll set like a 5-minute cap on each question. So like I won't go over 5 minutes, or I'll try not to drag on too far past 5 minutes, and just answer them. These questions are going to be, some are super interesting, some are stupid, some are great, some I think I'll ask them in a way because I'm asking myself these questions. So I'll ask them in a way that I know I'll give the best response. I think that's how I'm going to handle keeping structure in the podcast from now on. I'm going to try it for a bit and see how that goes. I'm fucking super happy with how those little sub clips have been turning out. I'm fucking pumped with that, and so that's a positive. I'll see how the structured stuff goes. I still want to keep it kind of free flowing though, because I'm a huge fan of free flowing, non-structured podcasts. They're my favorite ones to listen to. So I don't want to move too far away from that. I would like to keep it pretty free flowing, but I will introduce more structure. Oh no, what have I done? I took a screenshot. Fuck yeah. I've realized that instead of writing down the time and looking like getting distracted and going over here and doing all that stuff, I can just take a screenshot of the screen of the time and then keep charging forward. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn the sound off. Does that affect my recording if I mute the computer? No, you can still hear me. Can I hear myself? Yes. Sorry, that was probably really annoying. So I've realized I can just take a screenshot of the screen and get the time in there and then come back and worry about it later. Sorry, I'm getting overloaded. Deep breath. Where were we? Yeah, so I think I do, although I do like the flow of the non-structured podcast of just going with the flow and talking shit and moving with the way everything goes, I do appreciate the need for structure. So I think I'm going to try and bring a little bit of that in and find a happy medium between free flowing and structure. We'll see how it goes. I'll do it for the next 2 episodes anyway, because I've already written out the plan, and then we'll see how we go. So stay tuned, eh? I also realized I definitely shouldn't be allowed to read aloud on podcasts. I'm better off just getting the gist of something and saying it rather than reading, because when I read out loud, it doesn't sound so good. So I'll try and keep that shit to myself, and just, wing it or write notes and then not read the notes, but know the notes enough to riff off the top of it. So I think I'll do that from now on, because I'm not good at not that great at reading, unless it's entertaining, in which case I'll read plenty for you guys. Also, fan submitted stories I thought would be cool. Maybe I should get people sending in stories. Let me know if you think that's a cool idea. That's how I'll judge it. If no one gets back to me, then I'll know it's not a great idea. So I won't bother. Oh, why is my sticker not working properly? Sorry, this is not the time for this. Fan submitted stories. I reckon that'd be cool. Like, just email in a story and I'll tell the story on air, and I'll credit you obviously for the story, or even story time with me. That could be cool. I wonder what stories I would tell. I'd have to tell ones that wouldn't get me in trouble. But yeah, I was just thinking about the layout of the podcast and stuff like that, and what things would benefit it and make it, make it a bit better. But I am really happy with how the sub clips are turning out. It's so interesting to see how the views vary, like on Instagram of the reels, how much they vary based on, I don't know what they're based on, but like one will get 200 views and the next one will get like 1,500, 3,000. It's like, what the fuck? And then back to like 50. You're like, what is going on? Doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I'm really happy with how they turned out. So that's a massive tick in my personal happiness realm. So I will save that for a little bit. So yesterday I did something pretty cool. I won't tell you about it, or maybe I will. Maybe I'll hint about it. Because it won't come out for, I don't know. I don't really know when it's going to come out, but it will come out eventually. And that's when I'll tell everyone properly. But yeah, did a little advertisement, did a little bit of recording for some people. So that'll be on air, hopefully in the next month or so. That'll be cool to share. I'll get to share that with everyone once it's out. But that was fun. I spent the whole day yesterday doing stuff. But yeah, I'm not going to share anything. I'm not going to share the full details of it. I'll tell the story when it comes out. But yeah, it was exciting, new experience. Very happy with that. Met some cool people. Yeah. So what was I going to do next? That's right. So I'm going to get this out of the way, because it's Noah. You know Noah. Everyone knows Noah. Noah Raz. The Raz man shared something to his story the other day. And I'm sure a lot of people have shared it to their story, but he was the person who I saw it off, and I saved it to my podcast references because it was fucked. It was a post by Emma Jeffcoat, and it was just some things that she's been told, like messages she's received from people on her Instagram. I'm just going to read the post. Sorry about my my reading, but you know what? Fucking deal with it. I first resonated with Brooke Neal's words in her open letter, Dear Olympian, a letter I wish I got post-Olympics. This morning I saw Brooke O'Neal's post, comments that destroy athletes, followed by 9 unhealthy comments as examples. For a second time, Brooke's post had rocked me. Personally, I had heard 8 out of 9 of the comments she gave, and could think of countless more. So these are the comments. Your period means that you're not training hard enough. No pain, no gain. You should reduce your calories because lighter equals faster. Winners never quit. Wow, you're looking fit. When really I was underfueling myself. You look like a runner. Be sick and get back out there. No days off. Lean is fast. So that's wild. I remember when I was going through my eating disorder shit, like people would tell me I looked good and I was like, fuck, thank you. But on the inside, I was dying. So, I mean, it's not the same thing, but it's kind of similar. Because I know a lot of female athletes lose their period because they're training so hard. That's fucked up. That's not healthy. As soon as you lose your period, you should be starting to ask questions. So the fact that you're hearing this as an athlete is ridiculous. And like, no pain, no gain. Yeah, that's kind of true to a certain extent. But then there's also that tipping point where it becomes unhealthy and not right. You should reduce your calories because lighter equals faster. Yeah, in a sense, that's true, but also not true, because there becomes a point where you're unhealthy and you can't sustain it, and then it fucks you up. So there's a balance to a lot of these things. But the fact that you're hearing this as an athlete means that you're not being coached the right way. You're not being coached by someone who actually gives a shit about your performance and sees you as expendable. Because if you're wanting to compete at a high level of something for a long term, then how can you be told not to eat? You know, to train yourself into the ground to the point where it's unhealthy, where you lose your fucking period. It's ridiculous. You can't be forced to do this shit. And so she gives examples of comments she's heard. Wow, you don't look like a triathlete. You run well for a big girl. How much more weight do you want to lose before world champs? And this was 2 weeks out. That must have given you hope, seeing X, supposedly bigger athlete, win. If you got your period, it means you're not training hard enough. Try not to eat too much. It will make your comeback even harder. Straight after diagnosis of my first stress fracture. Jeez. She goes on to say, I was overwhelmed when I shared Brooke's post. How many of you wrote back to me on your own comments and thoughts on this? I reached out to Brooke and had goosebumps reading the hundreds of examples people had written back to her. It's confronting that by being an athlete, people then feel they are entitled to comment on your body shape, size, performance. The list goes on. With little to no context. I also don't think it's an issue confined to just athletes. I think it happens to all of us at some point. These throwaway comments, more often than not, don't go away. Most of the time, I don't think people realize what they've said and have no intention for it to be hurtful or repeat in someone's head. I believe this just highlights our need for all of us to talk about it, call it out, hold people accountable, to model the behavior and changes we wish to see. Emma Jeffcoat is an Olympian triathlete. So that's fucked that she's hearing that kind of shit. But I know where she's coming from, because I've heard similar stuff too. I'm fucking big for someone who does Ironman and stuff like that. I'm not lean, not as lean as I used to be when I was unhealthy. I'm fluffier. I'm not fucking shredded, but I still get the job done. It's where your body performs its best. And odds are, if you're shredded and still performing at your best, then you're genetically, that's your sweet spot. But odds are you're gonna perform better when you're fueling better and feeling better as yourself. If you're strung out, if you're getting forced to lose weight to try and perform at your best, and you have you fucking cut down your calories, you're not fueling properly, you're going to get fucking injured, your tendons are going to feel the pinch, your fucking joints, your cartilage, everything's going to fucking feel the pinch, because you're going to have nothing there softening the blow. And it's not a sustainable way to go about things at all. If for females, a prime example is, if you're losing your fucking period, that shit ain't going to be healthy. There's no fucking way it can be healthy, mate. If you're losing your period is something that you're supposed to have, regularly. That's a sign that your body is functioning properly. If you lose that shit, something's wrong. Yet it's a common thing, especially when people compete, when people do bodybuilding competitions, mate, they lose their period. When females do it, they lose their period. That's a sign that it's not healthy. That's a sign their body's going into fucking, battle station. That's save the fucking ship mode. It's nah, we got to conserve our energy and send it to the vital organs so we survive. Period is non-essential when your body gets to that point. That's fucked. You shouldn't push yourself there. And if you do, it should only be for the shortest amount of time, then you should bounce back out, because it's not healthy at all. I don't know what the same kind of thing is for guys, but for females especially, it's not. No. Your training should revolve around that. Your training should almost be programmed around, your period and stuff like that, to allow you to maximize your performance while also maximizing your recovery and giving your body the time it needs to do what it needs to do. But these are all just thoughts that bounce around in my head. I'm not going to comment too much on it because, I'm not an expert on that kind of stuff, and nor am I a female. But, these thoughts I think about because it's interesting, and it's like I hate seeing it because it's fucked. Like, I know how bad I had it when I was going through an eating disorder and trying to train and all that kind of stuff. I can't imagine what it's like. You lose your fucking period. It must be so scary. So, yeah. Wild shit. I just thought I saw Noah share that, and I was like, you know what? This is a great topic to throw in on the podcast, and that's what I've done. So, yeah. Crazy stuff. The next thing I had, so one of my friends, Abdullah Zanayab, I shared it on my story. He redid his 24-hour cycle. Earlier in the year, he attempted it, and it didn't go to plan. Like, he had all sorts of gut issues, and like, he went from training up in Queensland, coming down and doing it in Melbourne. It was freezing. It was just, so many things went wrong, and then it just, it all caught up. And over 24 hours is a fucking long time. You gotta, like, if too many things go wrong, then you're setting yourself up for failure. And I think too many things didn't line up the way they should have, and it just wasn't meant to be. Anyway, he re-attempted that during this week. I can't remember what day it was, but he got 904 Ks, and I was just watching him do that, and just the fucking mental strength and the mental fortitude it would take to hit that shit got me thinking. I was like, maybe I'm in the wrong sport. Maybe I'm in the wrong thing, doing Ironman and stuff, because I love that pure grit, like that grind of like, it ain't over until the fucking clock, and it ain't over until the bell rings, mate. So you got to keep fucking going. You got to keep grinding. Like, there's no stopping. And I love that kind of stuff. It's just brutal. It really does strip you down to, your bare minimum, like absolute bare minimum. Like with Ironman training, yeah, like I did my Ironman, it fucking hurt heaps, and I want to do another one. But, I look at the training that I'm doing, and I'm training pretty hard for it. So, like, I'm not gonna get that feeling I want to get of bombing out and hitting the end of the line. Whereas if I go and do something I've never done before, and something naive, and maybe push myself a little too far, that's when I'll hit that point. That's when I'll hit the point I've never been to before. So maybe I want to do that. Maybe I want to go and find something that's a little more fucked up than an Ironman, and maybe I'll go out and just fucking ride for 24 hours just to see where I can get. Or I spoke to Ben about it. He was like, just ride for 16, because we did a 16-hour ride, back in the day together, 10-minute stints each. Maybe I'll go and ride for 16 hours by myself and just see how far I can get. But yeah, I don't know. So that's started creeping in my brain. I'm still doing tries, still doing Ironman, but maybe I'll do some other things as well in there. We will wait and see. But that's just bouncing around in my brain now. So thanks, Abdullah, for kickstarting that one. Shall be interesting to see. I've just got the bug. That's all. Yeah, I already said I got in trouble for training too hard on Wednesday. I also saw a cool quote this week, and it was, why do we avoid sitting with ourselves in stillness, taking a moment to pause, feel ourselves in peace? And like, it resonated with me heaps, because lately, with everything that's been going on, like I haven't been feeling myself. I'm struggling a bit mentally and all that kind of stuff. I've noticed that I don't, I'm going to play with my stress ball. I don't like listen to the silence as much anymore. Like when I used to ride, I used to go for like 3 hours and not put music in or not put a podcast on and just listen to the sound of nature, listen to the sound of the bike and enjoy it. Whereas now I'm like, no, I've got to play something. And I think I'm trying to escape, sitting with myself and being in the stillness, because there's things I don't want to think about, don't want to deal with at the moment, because I'm sick of fucking thinking about them with everything that's going on. And I haven't mentioned anything that's going on. It's just like personal stuff. So like, yeah, I think we instead of sitting with ourselves and being at peace with ourselves and, talking to ourselves, we try and find ways to escape that feeling of being there and having to face what we don't really want to face. And that's why we avoid sitting in stillness by ourselves and sitting there with ourselves and being fully present. And I want to get back to that. So I've been trying to be more present with myself and acknowledge my feelings and just try and think through them and then kind of get rid of them in a healthy way, not just push them down and ignore them and fucking start playing shit on top. So I've been trying to get better at that because I've noticed that it's I could be better, especially lately. So I'm trying to, maybe tomorrow with my 100k ride, I'll just try and not listen to music the whole way and just listen to my brain, listen to my thoughts and think some things through. Because I know in the past, it's always made me feel so much better when I just listen to myself talk. Maybe I should listen to it. What about this? What if I listen to my own podcast while I'm writing? Does that count as listening to my own thoughts? You tell me. I think I've cracked the fucking code, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, that quote just started a whole bunch of fucking thoughts in my head, and I was like, I've got to get better at this. So that's one of my goals. Then I saw another quote that just popped up. Life isn't about finding yourself, it's about creating yourself. And I think that is just mind-blowingly true. It's not about finding yourself. You're never gonna you say find yourself, yes, but in that journey of finding yourself, you create yourself. So I think it's literally just life is about creating yourself. You do a bunch of different things. They teach you lessons. You learn some stuff. You learn skills. You fucking figure a bunch of shit out. You make mistakes. You learn from them, and that creates who you are as a person. And without going through those things, you wouldn't be yourself. So it's not about finding yourself, it's about creating yourself. And I just thought that was a cool concept because, you think about all the things you had to go through to become you. You think of all the things that had to go right for you to meet the people you know. All the decisions you made to get to the point that you are. You created yourself. You didn't find yourself. You made all those choices. You made all those decisions to get to where you are today. And I just think that's a cool concept. You're responsible for who you are. And if you don't like who you are, then you can change it. You just got to seek help about how to do it. I don't want to tell anyone to fucking change yourself. And I mean that in a way, I could see how that could be taken out of context. If you don't like yourself, if you don't like who you are as a person, find out why you don't like yourself. That's how I should have said it. Don't change yourself. Find out why you don't like yourself. And there's going to be a reason. You'll trace it back and you'll find a reason. And then once you address that reason, you will like yourself. And odds are, once you like yourself, all your problems or most of your problems will just fucking disappear into the wilderness because that'll be the cause of a lot of your problems. But yeah, that's a fucking cool fucking fact, don't you reckon? Or a cool little statement, I thought it was a bit genius, All right, moving on to some questions. I wrote some down. I think I'm going to lead into the questions first, and then I'll read the questions. So I had a couple of concepts, right, that I thought of this week. I asked a few questions on my Instagram. I was just thinking about things. I was like, I want to do a bit more critical thinking on the podcast as well as stupid stuff. So this is some critical thinking. And I was like, all right, why don't I ask myself, are you afraid of death? And whoa. Yeah, that's right. So, sorry, I was just reading out my notes. So am I afraid of death or are you afraid of death? And my concept is, I feel like our bodies are mortal and our bodies are mortal and our soul or spirit isn't. And we keep coming back to this plane on Earth until we, earn the right to pass on to the next level. And I think you just keep rerunning your life over and over and over again until you get the tick of approval or the stamp. It's yep, you figured it out. You're enlightened enough. You get to move on. That's how I think things work, or I think I would like things to work. Life just keeps repeating itself until you're worthy. And our souls are are free and everlasting. I think I heard this somewhere, but our souls are free and everlasting, and you don't get to move on to the next part until you complete this level. It's like a mission. So you keep running this life over and over again, the same life, until you make the right choices and you get to the point where you're like, I get it now. You know, I understand how I'm supposed to do things. And then when you die, you pass on to the next level, and you get, told all the secrets of the universe, and you get to move on. You're like, whoa, this is crazy. So like for me, am I afraid of death? I don't know. Not really. Like it depends. I'm not afraid of the concept of death. No, I don't want to die because I like living. But at the same time, I'm not afraid of it. Like if it was to happen, then it's going to happen. Like there's nothing you can fucking do about it. So I'm not scared. I'm not out there every day thinking, fuck, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I'm out there just, I'm out there living. And if it does happen that one day, I do something wrong or do something stupid and it ends up, or like I'm not at fault at all, and it ends up that I'm, taken from this earth, I'm not going to be mad about it because I'll be dead. But I'm not afraid of that day. Like it's not like I live in fear of that. I know I'm, doing the right thing. I'm not doing the wrong thing. I'm not going out there chasing it. If it happens, it's going to fucking happen. There's nothing I can do about it. So there's no point being scared of it. It's something that, just kind of happens. And like, I used to talk about this with Ben a lot, but there are days where like I'll wake up and I'm like, nah, I'm not dying today. Like I feel like you can almost feel it. You're like, nah, today's not my day. Like I don't feel like today is my day to go. And those are the days that you take risks. Like I'll bomb down a hill, flying on my bike and be like, nah, today's not the day. I've got shit to do. Like I'm not done yet. And it's weird that you have those feelings. And that ties back to my theory of like, our bodies are mortal, but our souls or spirits aren't. They keep coming back. And like, what if I've already been past this fucking point, hundreds of times? I've already ridden my bike down this hill at a ridiculous speed, fucking hundreds of times in the past. So I know I'm not going to die deep down on like a subconscious level. I'm like, no, I'm sweet. I got this. I've made the same choice multiple times. So yeah, fuck, that was a lot. Hey. So as a result, I'm not afraid of it. It's not something I'm actively wanting, but I'm not living in fear of it happening because, it's a part of life. Death is a part of life. It's something that has to happen. And until you come to grips with that, then you're going to be like, you're not going to be able to live truly. You're not going to be able to fully experience your life until you come to grips with the fact that death is a part of it. That's, plain and simple. Next one. So this is just a concept. Pain is a cleanser of the body. Now, I feel like I should have mentioned this one earlier, right? But it is a cleanser of the body. Because if you think about it, whenever you're in pain, what happens? Like if you're in pain, if you experience pain, what happens to your emotions? What happens to all your thoughts? What happens to everything? It just washes away because you're focusing on this one thing. And that pain can come through, being kicked in the nuts by someone, jamming your finger in the door, or experiencing the pain of an intense workout or something like that. Everything just gets dumped out of your mind, dumped out of your body. You have nothing, you don't feel anything but that pain. And it's like, I feel like that's why exercise can become addictive when you're experiencing pain, because you go in there and you fucking punish yourself on the air bike or on the rower or on the ski erg, or like do some heavy fucking dumbbell squats, and you're in fucking pain and you think of nothing but that pain. And then you come out and you're like, oh, that was good. Like you feel good because you've just got rid of everything. You got rid of all that negativity. You got rid of all the bullshit. Got rid of all the thoughts that were bringing you down. And now you're like, I feel fucking fantastic. That's because you've been cleansed by pain. So I think pain is necessary in life. I think it's another concept that's necessary. We need pain to, move forward. We need pain to learn. We need pain to just govern us. We need pain to push ourselves. Because you wouldn't, like, if there was no pain, then you wouldn't push yourself because there would be nothing to push into. It would just be like, whatever. So it's a pain is a good cleanser of the body. It is. It's an addictive one, but it's a good cleanser. I just thought that was a cool concept. And then what was the next question? Is this... Fucking hell. There's a lot of shit I got to cover today. Damn, son. I'll try and get through most of it. So, this is the other question that I asked. One of the questions I asked on my Instagram story. And it was, what if there is no God? Like, what if we are our own gods? What if we are in control of our own life? But it's the future version of us who is in control. And they're like, all right, an example, think. He wasn't emotionally strong enough to deal with this. I wasn't emotionally strong enough to deal with this situation. This is the you from the future, right? So picture this. You from the future is looking back and thinking, you know what? I wasn't emotionally strong enough to deal with this certain situation. I need to subject my past self to more emotional pain in order to strengthen myself up enough to deal with this situation. So that's what your future self does. It subjects you to more pain. Being the god of you, it subjects you to more pain in order to strengthen yourself up and give yourself the ability to deal with that certain situation. Then, present you gets to that age, and then he's like, oh, you know what? I wasn't good enough to deal with this situation. I need to expose, blah, 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 myself in the past to this, to make myself strong enough to deal with it. And then like endless loop until you get to the point where you're accepted and you get to move on to the next level. But yeah, what if our future us, like what if we are responsible for governing ourselves? Like I put that up and someone responded with like, this could be the case regardless of whether there's a God or not. And that's true. Like what if there is a God, you go up to heaven and God's like, here you go, gives you your file and he's like, look after yourself. And you have to, take care of yourself for eternity until, you're accepted onto the other side or whatever. But yeah, what if there is no God? And what if we are our own gods? That's a wild concept, but it could be true. You would never know. And that's why I like the idea of you keep going back through life until you tick all the boxes and they're like, oh, come up here. You get to know everything now. Come on. Here's the chamber of all the fucking information. Go nuts. That'd be the best. That'd be the best prize of finishing life. You get to know everything from aliens to the Egyptians, what really went down with the fucking pyramids, like all sorts of shit. You get to know how long the human race lasts before it gets extinct, like all that crazy shit. That would be the fucking bomb. The bomb diggity, if you ask me. All right, so moving on to the questions that I have written myself. I feel like I've already answered. Yeah, I've already answered the first one, so I'll move on to the second one. So I've set myself a 5-minute timer, or I will set myself a 5-minute timer for each question, just so I don't go overboard with certain ones, but I don't think I should. I think I'll be pretty sweet. So the first one is what comes after death. So I'm going to answer from what I think comes after death. Now, for a while there, I thought, what came after death was literally just nothing. You're done. Like when you get, if you've ever been knocked out before, you will know. So you'll know what comes after death is nothing. If you've been knocked out before, that's what it would be like. Like it's weird. You have just a time skip. Like when I blacked out for the Iron Man, it was just weird. Like I was in a dream all of a sudden, and then I woke up and I was like on the floor. Didn't really know how much time had passed. It was weird. That's how I expected death, or that's what I expected to be after death. Like you would have this short run of like a dream, and then the dream would end, and that would be it. Or even like the dream would end and you would die in the dream, and that's it. You would actually die in the dream. You wouldn't wake up. So like for a long time I thought that was the case. It just ends. Like you just see black, and then all of a sudden you don't see anything because your brain's not on. But then I started thinking, like, what if, this is another one of my crazy theories, and I think I believe this one more than my other one, of, you have to keep ticking the box before you get approval to go to the next level. Like, what if you just wake up from your dream? So you die, and then you wake up from your dream, and you're in another life. and you just live that life through doing sorts of things, and then you die in that one, and you wake up and you're in another life. It just keeps going forever. Like, I reckon that's more plausible than, like, we could be all in a dream right now. You would never know. Just a really good dream with explicit details. I need to get a soundboard. That would be so cool. So I could play a bunch of quotes. Wonder how you set one of them up. That's a question for myself in my own time. But yeah, like, you just wake up from a dream. That's one of my theories of what happens after death. My next one is, you obviously, if you're good enough, or if you've ticked all the boxes, you get to ascend into the next level. But if you're not good enough, then you start again. Like from scratch. And you're a baby, and you live up, you grow up, and you experience all these things to get to the point where you eventually realize, you're enlightened and your mind is opened up to everything that is life and death. They're my, theories around it. I would love to know, I think I've said it on here before, I'm not a huge believer in the God, but doesn't mean I don't believe in anything. It's a wild fucking universe out there, and there's all sorts of shit going on. We don't really know enough at all to make judgments. But the reason I say that, I like the, become enlightened as you go to the next level, because I watched that TV series, The 100. And there's a bit of that in there. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but if you, it's a long series, goes for a very long time, but the way they wrap it up at the end is, super cool, and I love the concept of it, and it's just, it makes sense to me. I'm not in a cult, you're in a cult. Fuck. I'm watching, so because I'm trying to dabble into stand-up comedy, I'm trying to write a joke on, because I'm writing jokes now, that's what I do, trying to write a joke on the Heaven's Gate cult. I think I mentioned the premise of the joke here before, but when I figure out how to word it, I'll say it on here. But the basic concept behind it is, with the Heaven's Gate quote, with the Heaven's Gate cult, there was they all dressed the same. They took everything away from you, from what it meant to be a human. So there was no free will. You didn't think for yourself. You wore the same thing. You did the same, everyone, you did everything the same as everyone else. It was there was no free will at all. And the way they did this, though, everyone wore the same thing, and they got to the point where it was all right, the spaceship's here to take us up to the heavens. You've got to drink this. You got to make sure that you have, fresh Nikes on, and you got to have your pockets filled with quarters in order to gain access to the heavens. And, these guys, all these people, sit there and they slam their water, and it was poisoned, obviously, and they all die. And then they wake up at Heaven's Gate. They wake up at heaven, and God's up there, everyone. And in order to get through the gate, you got to give your quarters to God. God's got to make sure you got nice Nikes on, because you're only allowed to have fresh Nikes in heaven, and he takes your coins as well. And the premise of it was, or the premise of the joke that I want to try and make, is that the reason God's doing this is he didn't want to bother Jesus. He didn't want to send Jesus back down to earth, but he's trying to collect quarters. He's trying to complete his collection of quarters, and he's missing 3 of the most rare ones, with, certain presidential heads on them. And he's trying to think of another way to manage to get these quarters without having to send his son back down to earth, because, Jesus just got back, a couple of fucking centuries ago, and he's been partying hard ever since. He doesn't want to send him down again. But yeah, that's the premise of the joke. I want to try and word it. Obviously, I'm not going to say it in that way, but I reckon there's some fun there. So I'm watching the documentary on Heaven's Gate. It's actually pretty interesting, just to try and learn a bit more about the topic before I delve into it. But yeah, next question. Sorry, I went a little bit over the cap there because I was talking about something else. But next question is, all right, sorry, I'm just going to write this down. I'm screenshotting, but I'm also writing down. Fun times. Is fear of death or will to live a bigger motivator? Now, this one, you come at this from two angles. See, for me, it's will to live because I don't want to die. Like, I want to live and I want to enjoy my life, but I'm not afraid of death. So I suppose to me, yeah, it's definitely will to live. Like, I'm not afraid to die. So it's will to live is the bigger motivator for me. But I feel like this differs for so many people. Like, even if you go back to, it's will to live for me, 100%. Not even back in the day, there was no fear of death. It was like, you'd almost like welcome it, but not let your life suffer because you want to live the best life you can live, which I feel like they go hand in hand. Yeah. If you have a big will to live and you want to enjoy your life, then you're not going to be afraid of death because you spend every day enjoying your life. Like, for me, I know I've done everything I can to enjoy it. Even now, like, going through the shit that I'm going through, that only like you guys that are close to me know, I still have a will to live. I still want to enjoy my life, so that if I was to die tomorrow, I'd be okay about it. It's like, it's fine. I've done what I'm supposed to do. You know, I showed up. I fucking lived my life. I ticked all the boxes. I'm not ashamed of it. I've done everything. I've chased my goals. I've done cool things that I wanted to do, like this podcast. And I'm not afraid of it. So for me, will to live is definitely a much bigger motivator than fear of death, because I'm not afraid of death at all. So for me, that's not a motivator. But it'd be interesting. If you guys have a different opinion, message me or send me something, because it'd be cool to hear. Even fucking send a voice memo or a Instagram memo, because those are, they're easier to fit a lot of shit in. Like, you can talk shit for a minute. I think it's capped at, and you can just send a few of them. That's way easier than typing out a bunch of stuff. Next question is 47 minutes in. I can't wait till the day that I get to do advertising. You get to hear me read out aloud. Do you believe that everyone has a set time that they are going to die, or is it just something that constantly in flux? Cool. I forgot I wrote that question. I love this because I wrote these questions earlier in the week and I've already forgot about them, which means that I'm essentially reading them cold now for you guys. So do I think that everyone has a set time they're going to die, as in like everyone's life is set? I think it's constantly in flux. I would like to think it's constantly in flux, because that would suck if you had like, all right, you're going to die at this exact time, and like whatever you're closest to is the way you're going to die at that time. Like, I guess that would be, if you believed in like destiny, that would be your go-to. Like, everyone has a set time that they're gonna die. If that's your destiny, like my destiny is to, at 3:00 today, walk outside and a piano is going to drop from the heavens and kill me. Like, if that's my destiny, then that's my destiny. I honestly believe it's in flux. I don't believe it's set. I think it's constantly changing depending on the decisions you make. Like, I honestly think you could look at, it's wild, but you could look at human life as a bunch of like one of those books. You make a decision and you go this way, then you make another decision. It just branches off. And there's so many different, so many outcomes. I don't even know what I'm talking about, dude. It's fuck. You'd think I'm high, but I'm not. I think it just depends on your decision. It all depends on the decisions you make in your life. Because I feel like there are so many options. Like, once you make one decision, then that decision branches into another bunch of other options. And then you make a decision off that, and that branches into a bunch of other options. And there's no way it can be fixed. There's just no way. Because, especially if you got free will, there's no way your time of death is set. And, you're just going to approach it, and then that's it. You're dead. I believe that it's constantly in flux. Next question. Do you guys get random messages from people that just fucking mean nothing? Like, they're just random bots on Instagram. I get them all the time. It's so frustrating. Next question is, how do you think you'll go out? Oh, shit. So this one is cool. I don't know how I'll go out. I would, no. I don't think it's going to be like a disease. Like I did have I was freaking out a bit at the start of the year about having like bowel cancer and stuff because I was pooping blood for a bit there, but I had that checked when I got my colonoscopy, so no chance. So I don't think it's going to be like cancer related because I'm pretty on the ball and I have a pretty clean, healthy diet, so I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's just going to be like fucking out of the blue, something that happens out of nowhere. I'd like to say old age, but I don't know. But I honestly don't know. If I was to vibe it out, fuck, it's pretty like, I don't want to vibe it out, because if I vibe it out, it's like, I don't know, I don't see myself, yeah, fuck, it's weird. I don't see myself being an old dude, so maybe I'm not going to get there. Maybe I'll get to like 50, 60, and then something will happen then, because I can't really vibe past that. It'd be crazy if I was right, wouldn't it? Like, I'm probably going to be 160, just chilling, still doing the podcast. But like, it's weird. I can't get a vibe past like 50 or 60 years old, which I don't like. That freaks me out a little bit. Yeah, I don't know how I'll go out there. It'll probably be something sad, or like something fucking bitch ass, like I'll be taking a shit, and then like someone will open the door and I'll be like, fuck, heart attack, and then be dead. Or it'll be something badass, like I'll be walking outside and someone will fucking come flying in. They'll think I'm this thief that's been stealing a bunch of stuff overseas, and they'll come in, they'll try and fucking take me out, and I'll like fight off a bunch of dudes, and then this one guy will come out of nowhere and just fucking stab me in the back, and yeah, I don't know. I'd like to think it'd be a badass way, but I'll probably be taking a shit and get scared, get the poop scared out of me, and then fucking hit the hay. Do you think you can subconsciously feel when you're about to go out, as in die? Yes, I do. Like I said before, I wake up some days and I'm like, yep, not going to die today. No chance. It's not my time. And then, I'll wake up other days and I'll be like, I don't know. I'm going to tread lightly today because I'm not entirely sure how it's going to pan out. So I'm just going to be a bit more cautious. Oh, sorry. GoPro's out. We're back. Apologies for that one. I did take the opportunity to put some eye drops in there, so I stop itching my eyes and being weird. Yeah, I don't even remember what I was talking about. Damn, G. I should have fucking looked that up. Subconsciously, yeah, I feel like you can subconsciously feel. I feel like that's definitely a thing. Well, I hope so anyway. Next question: what would you do if you knew you had 1 week left to live? This is my favorite one. I've got to ask myself this. For me, I would probably do a bunch of cool shit. I probably wouldn't train because that seems to take up a lot of time. I don't know if I would sleep either. I just want to fucking run around and do stuff with cool people, like do things with the people I care about in my life and just spend time with them. That's all I would do, actually. Like, I wouldn't do much else than just spend time with the people I care about and, eat all the good food. Like, I would just try and enjoy it. I'm not going to go I don't give a fuck about going and seeing cool places. I don't care about that. I just want to spend time with the people that I actually enjoy spending time with, and, just make sure that the last memories I had with them or the last memories they had with me were good, because, I just want to make the most of it. Like that, if I was fucking going out, if I knew I was going out, then I'd want to spend time with them. Because like, that's what it's about, isn't it? Life is absolutely nothing without the people you meet and the people you get to experience along the way. If you didn't get to experience cool people along the way, then what's the fuck point? If you're just there by yourself doing stuff, like, life's not going to be as good. So life is nothing without the people you get to meet along the way. And that's why I'm so grateful that I'm in this fitness kind of, if I've done this, I've made choices that I have fitness-wise, is because I've got to meet so many fucking awesome people. And it's led me to this point where I'm like, I'm happy with it. It's great. Like, it was a fucking great, yeah, like, I probably did it unhealthily for a long time, but overall, it's been a super positive experience. Like, I was talking about it with my psychologist the other day, and yeah, like, there are negatives to it. Like, it's addictive. I probably tend to run and hide from some problems by exercising, and I have more in the past than I am now. But like, it's brought me a lot of positivity. I wouldn't change it, even though it was probably a coping mechanism for some things. Like, it's something that I would never trade, because I've met so many cool people and it's given me so much. Like, I met Caitlin through exercise and being at the gym. Like, mate, she's one of the biggest parts of my life. I'm not gonna mate, I wouldn't trade that shit for anything. But yeah, cool fucking beans, dog. So that's all the questions I wrote. I'm thinking of calling this podcast Death and All Things Life. I realized a lot of people watch based on, or listen based on the name. So if I name it something cool, people might fucking tune in. What is coming up for me this week? I have no plans whatsoever this week. It's great. It's not. I'm trying to find things to busy myself with, so I can, stay on my feet. But yeah, in terms of training this weekend, I am dreading it. I know I'll get it done, and I know it'll be perfectly fine. I might actually take my GoPro with me tomorrow. Fuck, I'm talking fast. I will probably take my TT bike out, which you can probably see sitting behind me. I don't know if that's in frame, but it is. If it is, you can see it. I'll probably take that out with me tomorrow because I got 100 Ks. I want to get it done quicker rather than, slower. So the roadie will be a bit slow for my liking. So I'll take the TT out and just fucking rip round. Hopefully get it done in 4 or so hours. Hopefully under 4 hours. If I can do 30 Ks an hour, that'd be sick. So I'll probably take that out. And Sunday will be 2 hours. It's not that bad. It's hills. It's not that bad. I'll just chuck a podcast on and ride up and down a hill for fucking 2 hours. It's not that hard. It's just more so the time consuming factor. I'm actually kind of glad I don't have to run real far this weekend. Like, I've done a bit of running this week and I'm kind of a bit over it. So 8Ks is not that bad off the bike. I haven't looked at the pace yet. It could be blistering speed, which will really hurt the soul, but you know what? I'm here for it. I'm here for the run off the bike as opposed to an extra long ride. What am I excited for that's coming up? I don't know. I'm a bit excited for Geelong, as I mentioned last week. That's pretty cool. I can't believe it's Christmas already. What the fuck, man? It's almost December. That's crazy. Where the fuck has the year gone? I can't believe I've already done 21 episodes. Shit. I wonder if I'm going to do them over Christmas. Maybe not. I haven't really thought that through yet, hey. That's crazy though, dude. Oh my gosh. Christmas already. Fuck, I've got to start buying people presents. I don't know if I've said this before, but my take on Christmas is, or my take on gift giving. Yeah, my take on gift giving is I only like to buy things for people or give people certain gifts. When I see that and think of them and it's genuine. Like, I don't like gift giving for no reason, and like, I guess that gets frowned upon by people. But yeah, for me, like, I'll only buy if I see something that reminds me of someone, even if they're not that close to me. I'll be like, yeah, this will be a good Christmas present, or like, this will be a good birthday present for them, even if they're not my closest friend and they would never think of buying something for my birthday. If I see it and it reminds me of them, I'll get it for them, because I feel like that's what Christmas is supposed to be about, not just buying shit for people because you have to. As soon as it's something you have to do, then you probably should take a closer look at it, because it's like, I don't know, if you really have to do it, then is there really is there really a deeper meaning? Like, if it's something that you feel like you have to do because you're being forced to do it, then it defeats the purpose. Like, for example, if you were with your partner and you were forced to, like, you felt you had to do something for Valentine's Day on Valentine's Day, then is it really something you want to do if you're feeling like your arms are tired and you're forced to fucking do it? Probably not. Like, for me, I, would do it because you love someone. You don't want to feel forced to do it. And the day shouldn't matter, whether you do it the day before, day after, the week before, the week after, whatever. You know what I mean? As soon as you feel forced into something, then it's not really your choice to do it, so it doesn't carry the same weight. So that's my stance on gift giving. I'll give people gifts because I like them and I see something and it reminds me of them, not because I'm forced to. I don't remember what got me onto that, but yeah, buying presents for people, true. Yeah. What else do I have this week? I don't know. Don't have my training program yet, so Don't really know what I'm doing training wise. Hopefully I get to do more than a single strength session though. I could go do fucking train this afternoon, eh? Could go do rip a sesh. Nah, probably not. Yeah. We set up at home a little dog electric collar fence because our dogs kept getting out. So I finished setting that up today. We set it up wrong at the start and then went out there and fixed it up today. And it works. I checked it. It's great. I don't want to put the collar on the dogs because I don't really want to fucking zap them. That'd give me, like, if I was a person and I had a collar on and every time I went to a certain point I got zapped, that would give me like PTSD. So I don't want to fuck the dogs up. I just don't want them to run away. They've been really good the past week and they haven't gone anywhere. And they're actually down there while I was fixing it up, looking at the flags and being like, oh, I don't know about this. And they didn't actually go through. They just looked at the flags and then pissed off. They don't have the collars on, so like obviously it wasn't working. But they just looked at the flags and seemed curious and then pissed off. So hopefully they they suspect something's going on and they're like, nah, maybe we won't go through here anymore. Because you put up, like, where you put the fence, you put up little blue flags as well to mark it, to show where it is. So I don't know. Can dogs see blue? It's a good question for the Googletron. We haven't Googled anything today, have we? Let's Google it and find out. Can dogs see blue? The retina of the eye has two main types of cells, rods which detect light levels and motion, and cones from different. Dogs possess only two types of cones and can only discern blue and yellow. This limited color perception is called dichromatic vision. Really? They can only see blue and yellow? That's crazy. That's crazy, man. The podcast has had 790 downloads. I'm so pumped. It went flat there for a bit. I'm on the analytics page right now. Went flat for a bit there. But since pumping the shit out of it this week with, promos and stuff, the vegan podcasts have picked up this past week, which I didn't expect to happen. But yeah, I'm pumped. So hopefully if I keep pumping promo, if I keep pumping these reels, hopefully I'll get more people to listen, because that's what I want. I want more people to listen, more people to enjoy it. There's a bird outside my window. What are you doing? Yeah, fucking, you better run, bitch. Yeah. So earlier this week, no, was it yesterday? It was the day before yesterday. Caitlin was telling me about her work, and she was saying one of the teams, so they have a bunch of teams at the place she works. I'm not going to say where she works, but they have a bunch of teams like that do different jobs, and they're like labeled by color, like green, blue, red, and like green I think is customer service, blue might be like, I don't know, the more technical side of things, like the technical or like the programming side, and then say red was, I think she used the term, what term did she use? I didn't know the term, so she used another phrase, which I'll say in a sec. No, I didn't actually write the actual term. Sorry. Yeah, so the red team was like wellness team, and I was like, hang on a second. There's a wellness team? Does that mean like, because she's flat out at the fucking moment, like under the pump. And I was just picturing her like answering fucking calls, doing all sorts of crazy shit. And then the wellness team rocks up, late, all wearing like gowns, and they come in, they're like, namaste. Guys, we've really got to bring the negativity down in this room. And the phones are just fucking ringing off the hook. And the wellness team rocks in, they're like, namaste. Getting all up in your fucking grill as you're trying to answer fucking 35 questions in a minute. And they're just trying to chill everyone out. I was just like, I found that very funny, that there's a team designated to wellness, or what I thought. Like, it turns out it's not what they do. But for me, I found that funny. My interpretation of it, just these bunch of yogis coming in and being like, guys, just take a deep breath. It's fine. Everything's going to be okay. That's it. Deep breaths. That's what I pictured, not what they actually did. So yeah, imagine having a wellness team at your work or your place of work when you are just getting fucking flat pummeled by customers, and then they come in and they tell you to chill out. It would make me very angry if I was working there. Yeah. So, what was the next week's episode, I think, is the question I want to kind of touch on, or the concept I want to touch on is everyone born a good person? Because I know there's a lot of bad people out there. But yeah, is everyone born a good person? Like, what's the go? Or are they born, evil, and the evil people are born evil and the good people are born good, or, whatever. That's what I want to talk about next week. But as for this week, I think that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. I don't really have anything else to say. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I thought it was a lot better structured than last time. Let me know what you think, please. If not, I don't really care. Like, I'll just keep doing them. But if you have any helpful feedback, I do appreciate it. Otherwise, I think that's enough from me. I will speak to you guys next week. I'll tell you how my wonderful weekend goes with my saws, my saddle saws. I'm looking forward to riding with them. They're going to be so much fun. But yeah, have a fucking ripper week, guys. Toe in the Line host Anthony Di Paolo is out, motherfucker.